Hello everyone and Assalamu alaikum. Today I'm here to share my understanding of literary theories and how we can apply a literary theory on a particular text. So first of all, I would like to thank Ma'am Nukmatas Langa for giving me the opportunity to talk to you guys about literary theories and how we are going to apply a literary theory on a particular text. So a brief introduction about myself. My name is Misbah and currently I am enrolled in my 8th semester at FC College Lahore where I'm pursuing baccalaureate honors in English literature. Apart from that, I have been involved uh, in academic writing and I have submitted my 4 research papers for publication uh, in HEC's Y category. And also I have presented my thesis at international conference where I was appreciated for my research skills and also for my academic writing. So now today I have prepared a presentation for you where we will see how we can apply a literary theory on a particular text. And I will be sharing my experiences of how I used to apply theories when I was supposed to apply a theory on a particular text. So for that, I have prepared a small presentation that I will share with you all. So here we go. Once again, you can see my name and the FC College here in this slide as well. Now we'll start with our first slide where we will talk about the importance of literary theories and why it is important to have better understanding of a literary theory. So first of all, if you want to join academia in your future, and if your future pursuits are related to academia, then it is very important for you to know and they have a better understanding of applying theories on text. So also this the importance of literary theory is that it can help you with your research writing skills as well. So if you are good at applying literary theories on different texts, it means that you are improving your research writing skills, which can help you with your publication of your research papers. Apart from that, while doing so, you will also contribute new knowledge to literature, where you will be deducing some new points from the text that you are that you are using to be applied. Also, literary theories can help you get different scholarships based on your research paper. So if you are good at research writing skills and if you are good at how you can apply a text, how you can apply a theory on a particular text, then it means that you will be able to produce a good research paper, which can ultimately help you hunt a scholarship for your higher studies if you want to pursue MPhil or PhD in your academic career. Also, academia as future career. So as I already talked about academia as future career. So if you want to join academia and if you are if you want to teach literature or any other subject that you want to, then this is the best option for you if you want to go if you want to pursue literary, if you want to pursue your degree in English literature, where your main focus will be on literary theories. Also, change in reading perspectives, better understanding of theory and its knowledge. So literary theory is important for a reason that if you sit for reading, you will have something in your mind. For example, if I have to read about feminism, or if I have to read a novel by Jane Austen or any other feminist writer, my whole perspective will be of that person, that philosophy or that theory. So literary theories can help you direct your perspectives towards the philosophy of that theory. So it's very important for you to have a better to have some perspectives while or before reading primary text. Okay, now it is very important for us to know what really literary theory is. So according to Tyson, this is very, I have got a book here, like a critical theory today, a user-friendly guide, second edition by Lois Tyson. This is the perfect book that you can use to have better understanding of theories and how you can apply theory on a particular text. In this book, he has basically talked about all the theories that you might come across in academia, especially in literature. So I would really recommend you guys to consult this book if you want to have better understanding of theories and how you can apply a theory on text. So according to Tyson, literary theory tries to explain the assumptions and the values upon which various forms of literary criticism rest. So also, literary theory is a way in which we use ideas and methods to better understand the content knowledge of a text. Also, it helps us interpret a text from different perspectives. It helps us remain consistent to a particular perspective of the text. And also, it is a different approach to a text based on different theories. So firstly, you can see the definition by Tyson, where he says literary theory tries to explain the assumptions and the values upon which various forms of literary criticism rest. So basically, literary theory is a way in which we direct our thoughts or perspectives while reading a text. As I mentioned earlier, if you sit for reading something, the, the very important thing that comes to your mind is how you are going to interpret that text. So for it, it is very important that you must have something in your mind. For example, if I have to interpret a text according to the teachings of feminism, then I will be trying to, take some excerpts from that text which relate or which basically endorse the philosophy of feminism. So literary theory is basically important to have a perspective if you sit for reading. So before reading, you must have, you must have a perspective of a text for reading. Now we have to talk, since we have talked about feminism and Marxism, now first we'll start with feminist theory, what really a feminist theory is. So according to Tyson, feminist criticism examines the ways in which literature reinforces or undermines the economic, political, social, and psychological oppression of women. So this is the definition of feminism by Tyson. And this theory basically advocates for women's marginalization, exploitation, victimization, and oppression. Also, it talks about injustice in the society towards women. Also, it endorses female perspective. And also, this philosophy or this theory challenges patriarchy, discusses about the unequal distribution of social resources and the roles in the society. And it also talks about women's rights. So you might have seen in our contemporary world, we can see that especially women are raising their voice against their oppression and for their exploitation, for their marginalization. So feminism is a theory which is nowadays popping up in almost everywhere. So it's very important to have a better understanding of feminism. Since it talks about the marginalization of women, it talks about the oppression of women, how we are, being Pakistan being, when we talk about Pakistani context, we can see that Pakistan is a patriarchal society. Now we have to see how we are treating women in our societies. For example, they do not have freedom. They are not independent. They cannot go out of their homes without the permission of their male heads in the family. So this theory basically talks about their operation and how they are treated in our societies. So it basically talks and it basically challenges patriarchy. Since Pakistan is a patriarchal society, this feminist theory talks about and advocates for women's rights, especially in the context of Pakistan, and also it advocates for women's rights. This philosophy basically says that men and the women are equal in our societies, and we have to treat everybody in our societies without having any kind of discrimination on the basis of genders. So this philosophy basically talks for the oppression, for the victimization, and also the marginalization of women in our societies. Since feminism is a broad term, this feminism, the philosophy or the theory of feminism also has some types that I will discuss. Firstly, feminism. Feminism is a general term, and under feminism we have Black feminism, modern Black feminism, Islamic feminism, liberal feminism, and radical feminism. So there are some types of feminism that we are nowadays focusing on. For example, I wrote my thesis on modern Black feminism, where I mentioned, how Black women, especially in the context of American societies, they are getting treated, for their skin color and also for their gender. So in my thesis, I basically applied modern Black feminism, which advocates for the rights and the marginalization of Black women living in America, especially, and also in other European countries where there are white people in majority of number. So for apart from that, we have Islamic feminism, which is also nowadays very important to write research papers about. Islamic feminism is nowadays also popping up like a new philosophy or new contemporary theory, where we can see researchers are working assiduously on this philosophy or on this theory. So if you have to apply feminism on text, there are some important novels that you can take help from. You know, Also, as I mentioned earlier, I applied modern Black feminism on Maya Angelou's novel "I Know Why the Cage Bird Sings" by Maya Angelou. So, Train to Pakistan, you can apply again Islamic feminism, uh, Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. You can use this text as well for the application of feminism, and also the Domestic Crusaders by Wajahat Ali. So this is basically a beautiful play written by Wajahat Ali, where you can apply Islamic feminism in the context of Islamic modernism. Marxist theory. So Karl Marx, 1818 to 1883. So in this pillar, according to Tyson, Marxism is basically getting and the keeping of economic power, which is the motive behind all social and political activities, including education, philosophy, religion, government, the arts, science, technology, the media, and so on. Thus, economics is the base on which this on which this superstructure of social, political ideologies, realities is built. So according to Tyson, this is the definition of Marxism. So this philosophy basically talks about the division of society on the basis of class system. Also, it emphasizes that the financial stability of a person shapes one's life. This philosophy or this theory also talks about the struggle between capitalists and the working class, financial stability leading capitalists to gain power in the society, working class getting poorer day by day, and also it advocates for the working class and their oppression. Working class is forced into low standard jobs. It's their compulsion to live a life as well. So before 1818, we know that we had a world where the working class was getting oppressed for when it comes to economy or when it comes to finances. They were getting discriminated and they were getting oppressed by the elite class uh, who were ruling or who were having top-notch positions in the society. So this philosophy basically talks about the division of society on the basis of class system, and also it emphasizes that the financial stability of a person shapes one's life. And these are the important points that I have basically taken from from the theory of Marxism. So for if you have to apply this theory on a text like George Animal Farm by George Orwell or The White Tiger by Aravant Adiga, it is very important to have firstly better understanding of your literary theory. Now in my next slide, I'll talk about how you can apply a theory, and there are some tips which I believe will help you a lot with the application of theories if you want to apply a theory on a text. So basically, these are the tips that I used to apply theories on different texts when I was supposed to apply different theories. So the first important thing is that be mindful about your selected theory. Now, if I have to apply a theory on a particular text, I must know that which theory can be applied on this text. So if you are mindful about your theory and if you are mindful about how you are going to apply that theory on your text, then it can help you. It can help you in writing a good research paper as well. Know more about what your literary theory requires and advocates. So as I mentioned earlier, uh, if you must have better understanding of your theory. Okay, for example, as we talked about feminism and also we talked about Marxism. Now you have to be very careful and you have to be very mindful about your theory and what it seeks and what it requires and it and advocates. So you must know more about your literary theory before you sit for applying a theory on a text. Also, read your text thoroughly, time and again for better understanding of the content knowledge. Now, it's very important that you must read your primary text time and again to have better understanding of the content knowledge that is written in the book or in the primary source. So, for my thesis, I read Maya Angelou's novel "I Know Why the Cage Bird Sings" more than 10 times, so that ideas. So that I had different ideas in my mind, and it became easy for me to take excerpts from the text when I had to apply feminism, black feminism on that text. Also, direct your reading perspective towards your theory. As I mentioned earlier, if you sit for reading a text, it's very important that you must have a perspective of your theory in your mind. For example, if you have to apply feminism or Marxism on a text, you must try to read the text according with in accordance of the theory that you are applying. So you have to highlight important points or quotes from the text that fulfill your theory's need. So if you sit for reading a text, it's very important that you highlight some important points and some important quotations that you will use to build your arguments later on when you sit for writing your research paper. Build your arguments based on highlighted quotes or points, as I just mentioned. Write well by giving references from the text. To make your argument strong, take excerpts from the text and write accordingly. So this is very important that you must have a deeper understanding of your theory, and you must try to highlight important points from the text if you sit for applying a theory. So firstly, you have to be mindful about what theory you are going to apply. Secondly, you have to read your primary text time and again. I emphasize that you have to, read your text time and again, so that you can understand, or you can direct your perspective uh, according to the theory that you are going to apply. Also, you have to highlight some important points which will help you build strong arguments in your research paper if you sit for writing your research paper. When you highlight some important points from the text, it will give you some time, and it will give you ideas in your mind that you can easily write later on if you sit for writing a research paper based on your theory. Now, research paper writing. So as I mentioned earlier, and as I talked earlier, I was appreciated for my research writing skills. Now I'll briefly talk about how you can write a good research paper. But if it requires, we can also arrange a different session on how we can write a good research paper. Now I'll briefly talk about how you can write a good research paper. Firstly, your research paper must have an abstract, which will comprise of 200 to 300 words with 5 or 6 keywords. Also, there should be introduction, where you will have your contention, your theoretical framework, what theory you are going to apply on the text, and your introduction must have research questions, 2 to 3 research questions that your paper will focus on, and also you will write, what will be your primary source and what will be your secondary source. Likewise, your paper must have a literature review where you will be discussing different research articles written by different researchers, where you will try to find some research gaps in those articles, which you will fill in your discussion or in your body through your arguments. So it's very important that you must select a minimum of 5 research articles where you are required to find some research gaps as well. So for this you have to read every article thoroughly, and you have to find the research gap in those articles. Furthermore, discussion or body, your research paper must have discussion or body part as well, where you will have in this section you will have strong arguments to fulfill research gaps you found. You must know how to make separate chapters if required, and the clear expression of your arguments should be there. So so in this part, basically you can also write different chapters if you are required to. But your discussion part of the body basically is is talking about how you are going to defend your research papers, or how you are going to fill the gaps that you have found in the literature review. So your discussion part will have strong arguments which will help, which will basically fulfill the gaps that you have found in the literature review. Now, your paper must have a conclusion as well, where you will write about how what you deduced and what you got from the research paper and what are your results. So in this section, you will basically talk about how you have filled those research gaps that you found in literature review, and how the main important thing that you have to mention in this part is that you have to in the last you have to write what is the research gap that your research paper might have. So you have to mention that research gap of your research paper, where which will be used for future researchers to work on it. Also, the last thing of your research paper must have work cited section, where you will order your references according in alphabetic order. Firstly, you'll start with A, B, C. So if a writer's name starts with A, you have to enlist this name on the first. And secondly, it will go like this. And paragraph hanging and MLA, you develop Purdue. So while citing different references, you have to select the option of hanging, of paragraph hanging when you are required, or when you sit for citing important works from the research paper. And for this, especially in literature, we follow MLA format. For MLA format, you can also take help from UWL Purdue, which is very important, which is I must say, which is a good website where you can educate yourselves about how you can apply theories, and also how you can educate yourselves more about MLA formatting and all that. So this is pretty much about it. Thank you so much. And if you have any questions, you can ask on my email address that is mentioned there. And thank you so much. Have a nice day. Goodbye.